All right. Let's talk about the trading post. Okay. The trading post is where the goods that are created on the planet go that you can then access. Okay. So, what we've got here, we have 3 probes that is in the planet stocks. We have 1 surface gun or the cannon, and we have 5,000 food, and we have 4,000 metal ores. Okay. Now we have space in the cargo hull that we made earlier in the previous video in the dry dock, and so we can take this metal ore, grab it with the mouse, drag it over to here, drop, and it will tell you how many it can put in. It'll automatically calculate this value for you, so you're doing okay. And we still have some more space left, you can see here. So let's go ahead and just move this food over here, and you can put 2,000 food. Okay, so now we have 3 of 3, so our holds are full. There is no more space. Now there are 2 separate areas on the ship itself. You have the ship cargo, which is down here, and then you have the ship ammo, which is up here. So if I do and you can see I have, it says 2, it says 3. It's a rounding issue. Don't just kind of ignore that. So you can just wait till it becomes 3 over here. So I'm going to say rearm, which loads both torpedo, missiles, and probes. This is just a quick button right here. And then I can load troops and fighters with this, and I can unload and I can dump those off. Or I can actually click on probes and say, hey, let's go ahead and go to 7 with that and do an OK. You can see here the planet stock updated correctly. And now I have 7 probes on my ship. Because I'm only building probes, this is the beginning of the war, I don't have a lot of stocks that I can play with here, but hopefully this is giving you the ideas how this can work. So I can fly this metal ore to another planet that has lower metal, for example, drop this off there, and I don't have to have as many people doing mining. Now that leads to an interesting thought. The ability to have feeder planets allows your higher habitability planets to lower the number of workers, and even for a short period of time, especially at the beginning of the war, can make a drastic difference in the size of the planet at the end of the war. So teams can get together, and you could almost, if you fed it correctly, have a planet that could grow for a week and have almost 100 people, 100% of your workers in the profession of just building houses. That planet would have a huge advantage, but it takes work to make that happen. So there are some interesting things that you can do in MegaWars by feeding planets and moving metal and food around to help you score later and better further down in the war. Okay, so that's what a player can do with his own planet. So I'm going to move this ore back over here, and I'm going to move the food back in here, and I'm just going to move it all. So now there's nothing in my ship cargo. That leads us to this another column over here, which is sell orders. Now the trading post is set up, and it can be public to where other players can come along and buy your food, your metal, your everything that you produce can come into sell orders. And how this works. If I take the food and I drag it over into sell orders, I now have a public price and a team price. So I'm going to make the public price of my food 4 metal units, and if my team comes along, they can buy it for 1. Doing okay. And you can see this is set up here as the price. Now my price is 0 because I'm the owner here. So players can come along and purchase food from this planet. Now most of the time you don't want the public coming in and buying stuff from your planet, because they know where your planet is and then they can take it from you. So usually you might not want to do this, but you might want to let some friends know that they can, hey, you can come buy food from me. Okay. Now, what if you have some friends that have extra food and you want them to drop it off at your planet? This is what the buying button is for. So I press the buy button. So I could come down here to food, and it says amount to buy, and I want to buy 100,000 units. I want to buy those for half of a metal unit each. Or actually, no, this has to be, that should be, I just didn't get it, 0.5, okay? So now when someone comes along, they're going to be able to sell food on your planet. Now, if you have 0 in amount to buy, even if they had 1,000 fighters on their ship, they're not going to be able to put in here because you're not buying any. Even at 0, you're not buying anything. So if you want to buy and sell on your planet, then you come here and you set up the buy orders. I'm just going to do an OK. Now this planet is set up for everyone that has the ability to access the base, and that was on the planet management page on the settings. So you'll need to go look at that, and there I described that in the basics. We'll go over it very quickly, but you need to set up the ability for that planet to buy, for public people to come and access the trading post. Okay? All right, so I think that is it at this point. I'm going to take this food. Oh, when the food, for example, comes out of this, oh, I already moved it over there. If the food comes out of sell orders, or you have food in sell orders, so let me just move it back. If you have food that is in sell orders, okay, that food is no longer available for your colonists on that planet. So be careful that you don't move out too much and you start a shortage, because that could be bad. Okay? All right, so I think that is it for the trading post. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so very quickly, you have quick buttons here which rearm your ship, torpedoes. This reloads troops and fighters, unloads troops and fighters, and dumps all the extra onto the planet. Okay, so if I say dump, you'll see that it left me with 1 probe and all the rest are here. So I click on probes and I drag this all the way to 7, and that's one way to do it. Or I could hit dump and then just a very quick reload and it brings them back in. Okay, all right, and you take with the mouse, the left mouse button, you click, you drag, drop, and tell it how many you want. Do an OK. All right, so I think that's it. There is some special things at the trading post at the Imperial bases, and I'll do a video for that in the future. So if you want people buying from your planet, you set up how much you want to buy and how much the price is. Okay, let me get this food back for my colonists because I want them to eat it all. All right, thank you very much.